is Valley News Live at 4.
We begin with our top story at 4. Jury selection is underway in the trial of a man accused of stabbing a Fargo teenager to death last year. 24-year-old Arthur Colley is charged with murder, robbery, and aggravated assault. He's accused in the deadly attack on 14-year-old Jupiter Paulson near the Party City store. The trial is scheduled to last for 4 days. Well, now we want to get a check of our weather and seeing what we're looking at this afternoon or early evening with Summer Schnellbach. Summer, what are we looking at right now?
Hello everyone, thanks for joining us on this Tuesday. We're looking at our Luther Family Ford Sky Cam here in South Fargo. We have some blue skies, not a cloud in the sky, at least from this vantage point. Although it's been looking a little hazy and we've had some red sunrises and sunsets. So we do have just a little bit of wildfire smoke in our atmosphere, in addition to plenty of dust and things being kicked up with the harvest season. It is mild though. Check out these temperatures right now. You see a lot of red on the map. It's 84 at this time in both Jamestown and in Grand Forks. Here in Fargo, we are at 83 degrees, 86 in Oaks, 87 in Sisseton. A little cooler up to the north. We're at 81 in Bemidji, Baudette, Roseau, Hallock, and in Langdon as well. However, we're all enjoying the sunshine. A few passing clouds, mostly north and out of our region. For this evening in Fargo, that sunshine will stick around. Be on the lookout for another hazy sunset and maybe send some photos our way to our website, valleynewslive.com. We will see a little bit of that northeasterly breeze sticking around, staying light. Temperatures falling into the upper 50s by morning. And in Grand Forks, a very similar trend. We will keep the sunshine, the light north winds, temperatures falling into the 50s. Bobby, tomorrow's looking at like another warm day. I'll have your hour-by-hour forecast and what you can expect for your midweek coming up here in just a couple of minutes.
All right, yeah, there's going to be a lot to go over, Summer. Thank you so much. Well, police in Memphis say that a body found during a search is a Memphis teacher who was a woman who was abducted and forced into an SUV during her early morning jog. Now, investigators have identified the body of 34-year-old Eliza Fletcher, a school teacher and granddaughter of a prominent Memphis businessman. Fletcher was abducted around 4 a.m. last Friday. U.S. Marshals arrested a 38-year-old man in connection with the abduction on Saturday, and police say that he will now be facing a charge of first-degree murder and perpetration of kidnapping. And North Dakota Senator Kevin Cramer is now banned from entering Russia. Now, Russia has imposed personal sanctions in response to U.S. sanctions against Russia's stemming from the conflict in Ukraine. And Senator Mike Rounds of South Dakota was also on that banned list. And Russia's foreign ministry says that the list included business leaders, academics, and government officials. Actors Sean Penn and Ben Stiller are among the notable names on that list. A teenage girl was killed in a boating accident over the weekend. That's according to the Cass County Sheriff's Department. Deputies and responders were called to 10 Mile Lake in rural Hackensack for a report of a boat accident with injuries at 10 p.m. on Sunday. Deputies and responders were called to 10 Mile for that report of that incident, and they learned that a boat driven by a man from Horace had been traveling on the lake near the shore when it hit something, causing it to stop quickly. The 13-year-old girl on the boat was thrown forward. Her family members made life-saving efforts until authorities arrived, but she was later pronounced dead. The driver of the boat received minor injuries. Friends and family gathered to say goodbye to 2 of 4 victims of a murder-suicide in North Dakota. The funeral for Justin and Richard Bracken took place today at 10:30 a.m. at Leeds Lutheran Church. Visitation was 1 hour before the funeral at that church, and the funeral was streamed through the Nelson Funeral Home Facebook page. Arrangements for Douglas Duelmage of Leeds and Robert Bracken of Candu have not yet been announced. The 4 men were found dead last Monday in a wheat field in Towner County, but police have not yet said who the shooter was. A Hutchinson, Minnesota man is dead of an apparent drowning at a youth camp in Brainerd. The Crow Wing County Sheriff's office says that the 30-year-old man was a staff member at Maplewood Academy and was on a retreat at North Star Camp with a group of students when he died. Deputies responded to the camp just after 1:30 yesterday afternoon on reports of a man who had gone underwater. A student with the group was able to pull the man from the water, but life-saving attempts did not work. The group that runs the camp says counseling services will be provided for students and staff in the coming days at the academy. Another shooting near the Minnesota State Fair. An 18-year-old man was shot in the stomach near the fairgrounds last night, and police are still looking for the suspect. The victim is being treated for non-life-threatening injuries. Witnesses say multiple shell casings scattered across the road. Last night's shooting comes just 2 days after a man was injured in a shooting inside the fairgrounds, prompting an evacuation. And well, it's back to school for many students in Minnesota. Faculty and staff have throughout many districts spent all summer on improvements that they hope will make the school year better for everyone, including security, COVID-19 protocols, and mental health. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz visited North Metro Area Elementary School and greeted kids on their first day. Minneapolis public schools, like many districts, are also dealing with a teacher shortage.
They'll go into this school, all the teachers, all the support staff, all of the folks that will feed them nutritious meals, that will clean this building, that will be there to provide those things, is what makes things great. We feel it today. Our schools are at the heart of our communities.
And as of this morning, 270 openings are listed on the district's website, with more than 200 teaching positions available. And the new school year is also underway in Uvalde, Texas. It's been close to 15 weeks since the tragic shooting at Robb Elementary School in the city that left 19 students and 2 teachers dead. Parents lined to drop off their children even as questions about school security rose, and what happened back on May 24th continues to swirl. And there was a noticeable police presence at the school this morning. Well, coming up on your news at 4, going back to working in the office. Why today is the day that so many companies expected to see their employees in the office, but it's not without some pushback.
Getting scammed? Call the whistleblower hotline.
Now this is a blowout. Dakota Spas is ready to finish out this hot summer with a bang. On pools and spas, you can save up to 40% off. With plenty of hot days left, cool down with a pool, or get a jump ahead of cooler temps with a new hot tub. So much inventory of both used and new at Dakota Spas. And save up to 40% off during Dakota Spas blowout sale. Located on the I-29 frontage road, Fargo. Dakota Spas.
Breaking news this afternoon, emergency officials are on the scene of an armed standoff.
He has barricaded inside. He does claim to have a gun and a knife.
They've evacuated some houses. A woman had just escaped.
We heard like 4 shots.
We have a reporter, and we're expecting an update
on this developing story.
Police used tear gas and pepper spray to get him to surrender.
A man is now in custody after an hours-long standoff.
We'll continue to bring you the latest.
This is Valley News Live, always on.
Inflation is on everyone's mind. The price of everything feels like it's going through the roof. Whether it's the price of gas, cars, trips, or groceries, do the dollars make sense? What is the actual price compared to history? What products are going up and through the roof? What things are kind of staying the same or coming down? Each week on Price Watch, we'll break down the numbers to make sense of what's happening and how you can save a few bucks. It's called Price Watch, and we'll bring it to you every Monday night at 10 on Valley News Live.
Honor Flight is a nonprofit organization dedicated to providing veterans with honor and closure. Locally, many fundraisers occur throughout the year to raise money to send the area's veterans at no expense to them to Washington, D.C. While they're there, they visit memorials that honor the service and the sacrifices of themselves and their comrades. To find out how you can help honor our nation's heroes, find Veterans Honor Flight of ND/MN on Facebook. Visit our website, email us, or call 218-28-HONOR.
Well, today is the day many offices targeted their employees to return to the office full-time, but that is not what some workers want. Vanessa Yurkovich has more on the office showdown.
A 5-day work week is nothing new, but post-pandemic 5 days in the office can feel overwhelming. Post-Labor Day, some companies are now requiring employees to hang up their house slippers and get back into the office for good.
What would your immediate reaction be to that? Like, oh no.
It's a feeling many Americans may be having. About 56% of full-time U.S. employees, more than 70 million workers, say they can do their job from home. But companies like Goldman Sachs, Tesla, Bank of America, and Morgan Stanley are requiring employees to return to the office full-time.
They're feeling very confident
about, it's back to school, it's back to the office, it's back to reality.
About 6.5% of employees in the U.S. were teleworking last month, fewer than in July, a sign that some workers could be getting called back in.
Hey, we did a good job.
For attorney Jessica Carroll, the prospect of going into the office full-time again would be a challenge.
You've kind of gotten used to this hybrid work from home experience. It would be hard to just go from what it is now to 5 days. It's kind of like ripping off the Band-Aid.
Like most, Carol was in the office every day in early 2020.
It was pretty demanding.
Then COVID hit. She had a newborn and changed jobs. A hybrid schedule was important, where she could be on a conference call and still pick up her older kids after school. The mother of 3 says so far her new firm has been flexible.
Having people in the office and more available by person rather than by phone is something that they encourage, but there's no strict policy.
After over 2 years working from home, some companies have fully embraced it. This summer, Yelp announced it would close offices in 3 major cities after just 1% of employees voluntarily returned in person. But some jobs can't be done remotely.
There are moments in our work where it's really important to be in person.
Bottom Line is a not-for-profit organization that helps lower-income high school students get into college. 80% of its 140 employees have in-person jobs and started their return to office this summer.
Did you face any resistance from staff?
I think there was trepidation across the board.
Did you lose anybody along the way?
I'm sure we lost a few who, for them, the decision to be back in the office wasn't the right decision.
With over 11 million unfilled jobs, that's about 2 open positions for every job seeker. A return to office mandate could be a deal breaker. Bottom Line has 15 in-person roles to fill.
We haven't been immune to the Great Resignation. We've seen, higher turnover in the last couple of years. It absolutely is a concern.
And the unemployment rate in the U.S. is 3.7%. That's according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Well, according to U.S. intelligence, Russia is reportedly purchasing millions of rockets and artillery shells from North Korea for its ongoing war in Ukraine. Now, the disclosure provided few details about the exact weaponry, timing, or size of the shipment. However, U.S. officials said that Russia was expected to try to purchase additional North Korean equipment going forward. Officials say that this will be a violation of United Nations resolutions that bans North Korea from exporting to or importing weapons from other companies. Juul Labs has agreed to pay nearly $440 million to settle a 2-year investigation by 33 states into the marketing of its high nicotine vaping products, which have long been blamed for sparking a national surge in teen vaping. Now, the settlement includes numerous restrictions on how Juul can market its products, resolves one of the biggest legal threats facing the company, which is still facing 9 separate lawsuits from other states. Now, the millions of dollars will be paid out over a period of 6 to 10 years, and the settlement total amounts to about 25% of Juul's U.S. sales of $1.9 billion last year. And teens who parents smoke are much more likely to vape. A study in Dublin by the European Lung Foundation found that young people whose parents smoke were 55% more likely to try e-cigarettes, 51% more likely to try smoking, and teens cited curiosity as the #1 reason why they tried those e-cigarettes. Well, federal authorities are issuing a warning about possible cybersecurity and ransomware threats directed towards schools across the nation. Just today, Los Angeles schools officials reported that this afternoon they successfully blocked a ransomware attack on its system over the holiday weekend. Now, officials say that the school system's readiness and quick action to involve law enforcement officials to combat the attack, saying that they said that no personal information appears to have been accessed. Also to come on your news at 4, could a later start time be a reality for more schools? We'll take a look. Still to come.
And temperatures lately have been comfortable and warm, but we're going to have a big change. We also have some wildfire smoke in the forecast. Your hour-by-hour forecast and a look at the rest of the week ahead is coming up next.